You're looking at a football team that plays in a 47,000-seat stadium. On good days, 11,000 people show up. On bad days, it's closer to 6,000. The stadium is never more than a quarter full. The emptiness is so obvious that camera operators have learned to avoid wide shots. You can hear individual conversations from the stands during live plays. This is Rice University football. And here's the uncomfortable part. Rice is located in Houston, Texas, fourth largest city in America. Football is religion here. High school stadiums seat 18,000. The Texans play 8 miles away. Texas A&M is 2 hours down the road. The University of Texas is 2.5 hours the other way. Rice has 4,000 undergrads. That's smaller than most high schools in the Houston suburbs. And they're trying to compete in Division I football, the highest level. Same scholarship limits, same recruiting battles, same rule book. It doesn't make sense on paper. It makes even less sense when you see it in person. But Rice has been doing this for 100 years. They were actually good once, really good. They won a national championship in 1957. They played in the Cotton Bowl. They had Heisman candidate named Dickie Mogul, who scored one of the most famous touchdowns in college football history after an opposing player came off the bench to tackle him. That was 67 years ago. Since 2000, Rice has won more than 6 games in a season, exactly twice. They've had 15 head coaches since 1950. Their all-time record since joining the modern era of college football is well below .500. They've never appeared in a major bowl game in the playoff era, and yet every fall they keep playing. Let's talk about what it actually costs to run this operation. Rice doesn't publish exact football budget figures, but we can estimate based on public data from comparable programs. A mid-tier Division I football program spends between $15 and $25 million per year. That includes scholarships, coaching salaries, facilities, travel, equipment, recruiting, and support staff. Rice offers 85 full scholarships. Tuition, room, and board at Rice costs about $80,000 per year. That's $6.8 million just in scholarship value. Add coaching salaries, which for a head coach and full staff run at least $4 million annually. Add another few million for travel, recruiting, facilities maintenance, athletic trainers, academic support, and everything else. You're looking at close to $20 million a year, minimum. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Rice football generates almost no revenue. Ticket sales are negligible when you're selling 8,000 tickets at $30 each for 6 home games. That's $1.4 million if you're lucky. Television money from the American Athletic Conference is split among 14 schools and totals maybe $7 million per school annually, most of which goes to the athletic department, not just football. The program loses money, a lot of it, every single year. That money comes from either the university's endowment, student fees, or donor contributions earmarked for athletics. Rice's endowment is large, over $8 billion, but endowments are restricted funds. You can't just spend them on whatever you want. The university has to generate returns and distribute them strategically. So the question becomes, why? The answer isn't about winning. Rice hasn't prioritized winning in decades. It's not about alumni demand. Rice alumni are some of the wealthiest and most successful in the country. Engineers, doctors, CEOs, but they don't care much for football. Basketball barely registers. Baseball gets some attention because Rice has actually been good at it. It's not about student life. Rice students are academically intense. They're studying engineering, architecture, pre-med. Football team is something that happens on campus, not something that defines campus. It's not even about recruiting or institutional prestige. Rice's academic reputation is bulletproof. It's ranked in the top 20 universities nationally. It's one of the best schools in the South. Football doesn't help that. If anything, it distracts from it. So why keep doing it? The real answer is inertia and identity. Rice used to be a football school. In the 1950s and 60s, they were part of the Southwest Conference alongside Texas, Texas A&M, Arkansas, and Baylor. That conference was a big deal. It mattered. Rice Stadium hosted Super Bowl 84 in 1974. John F. Kennedy gave his famous "We choose to go to the moon" speech there in 1962. Football was woven into Rice's identity during that era, but the world changed. The Southwest Conference collapsed in 1996. Schools like Texas and A&M moved to bigger leagues. Rice got left behind. They bounced around mid-major conferences, WAC, Conference USA. Now the American Athletic Conference. Each move down the ladder made it harder to compete, but institutions don't like admitting mistakes. Once you've invested a century into something, shutting it down feels like surrender, feels like admitting you were wrong. So you keep going. You keep scheduling games, you keep hiring coaches, you keep losing. Here's the part that makes it even stranger. Rice isn't trying to get better. They could invest more. They have the money. They could pay top-tier coordinators. They could build elite facilities. They could hire a big-name coach and make a real run at competing in the American. But they don't. Instead, they maintain a floor. They do just enough to stay Division I, just enough to say they have a football team. Just enough to avoid the conversation about shutting it down. The university's leadership has never publicly stated that winning is the goal. They talk about student-athlete development and institutional traditions. They talk about providing opportunities for young men to compete. They never talk about championships. This is maintenance mode football. And the strange thing is, it kind of works for Rice. Not for the team, not for the fans who don't show up, but for the institution. Because as long as Rice keeps playing football, they get to claim they're a full-spectrum university. They're not just academics. They have athletics, they have traditions, they have a stadium, they have homecoming. They get media mentions during football season. It's branding without performance. Let's zoom out for a second. Rice is not alone in this. There are dozens of schools across Division I that are stuck in the same pattern. Schools that play football not because they expect to win, not because it makes financial sense, but because it's what they've always done. Division I football has 133 teams. About 30 of them have realistic national championship aspirations. Another 30 to 40 can compete for conference titles or major bowl games. The other 60 or 70 are just there. They play, they lose, they collect paychecks for getting destroyed by SEC and Big Ten schools in non-conference games. They hope for a decent season every 5 years. They cycle coaches, they fundraise, they build practice facilities that still can't compete with Alabama's backup gym. It's a strange ecosystem. The top programs treat them like ATMs. Rice got paid $1.8 million to play USC in 2024. They lost 66-14. That money funds the athletic department. It keeps the lights on. But what are they actually doing? The counter-argument is that football provides opportunities. 85 scholarships. 85 kids who get to go to one of the best universities in the country for free. Kids who might not have been able to afford it otherwise. Kids who get elite coaching, world-class academic support, and a degree from Rice University. That's real. That matters. But here's the uncomfortable follow-up. If the goal is providing opportunities, why football? Rice could cut football tomorrow and use that $20 million to fund 250 full academic scholarships. They could build new research labs. They could expand financial aid, but they don't. Because football isn't about efficiency. It's about identity. It's about looking like a traditional university. And maybe that's fine. Maybe there's value in maintaining traditions even when they don't make logical sense. Maybe the intangible benefits, school spirit, alumni connection, campus energy, are worth the cost, but nobody at Rice will say that out loud. So what happens next? Rice football isn't going anywhere. The program is too embedded. The stadium exists, the scholarships are already allocated, the schedule is set for the next 5 years. But every year, the stadium gets a little emptier. Every year, the losses pile up. Every year, the question gets a little harder to avoid. What is this for? Because right now, Rice football exists to the strange purgatory. Not good enough to matter, not bad enough to quit, just expensive enough to notice. And the truth nobody wants to say is this: Rice doesn't need football to be Rice, but football needs Rice to keep pretending.